Leah and I, will have conversations about it where it's a particularly tough day, or, we send pictures to each other a lot of Hav, and, sometimes a particular picture just like hits you in a way where it's just like a rush and, triggers something. And so I think Hav is constantly around us in like the most amazing way, but there are like these, waves that hit you, and I think we do a pretty good job. I think it's important. I think we all think it's important to talk about it, and not let things go unsaid. I think we all want to know how each other are feeling, and so we can be there for each other. And I think living with each other for the past year and a half, you now don't need to always say things to know how the other is feeling. And so there's some reading body language and just understanding. But I think, I think it's expressed a fair amount.
Yeah, I think that we still, even though we know how important it is for the four of us to support each other uniquely, I think we still don't do the best job of like really checking in with each other on how we're feeling personally, irrespective of like what we can be doing to help support Myra and Matt.
There's both so much like unspoken communication and understanding just because of the way we've lived and been together the last year and a half. And also, I know like if I'm having what feels like a crummy day where I don't feel good, but like I know Lou is feeling good and like is able to laugh and like feel like herself, and then that both makes me feel really good. And also like I want that for her, or and so both like feeling maybe that I'm having a crummy day and that's okay, but relishing in like Lou or someone else that's having a beautiful day, and like having that both like lift you up out of it, but also just sort of this like appreciation that we're like in this.
We learn so much from Myra and Matt, and they've made the study of grief and the grieving process such an active part of their life, and they've been so generous in sharing that with us. And I feel like even though a lot of it is in the context of them sharing it and how they're moving through their grief, it's of course really helpful and therapeutic for us to learn and hear about that from them. And so I think I've been able through that to kind of learning through them doing the work that way.
I think I know sometimes like when we're falling asleep, we'll try and process how we're feeling. And the reality is sometimes we've just had to remind ourselves that we are making conscious decisions and choices to be support, and that then naturally you don't prioritize yourself there because you're in a support role. And almost naming that and knowing that has been as helpful to recognize when we are in a moment of, or whatever that moment is, whatever time period that moment is, that we are in a support role, and that if that's what we want to do, then we're going to do that, and we're going to accept all that comes along with it. And I think there are definitely times when the spidey sense goes up and you say, well, we're not prioritizing ourselves, we're not prioritizing each other, we're not prioritizing what's best for, Leah and Mike, or, our folks. And yet, I think consciously, we've chosen to support most of the time.